Hey everybody, welcome back to X's for Show. I'm NICO.
I guess I go next. I'm so used to Jonah going because you guys are always in the same box. I forgot about that part.
That's so funny, yeah.
Well, and I'm in the middle.
And I'm Tori.
And I'm Jonah, and I'm in this archway.
And that makes me a producer, KEVO. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we know what you want us to cover in the future. But we're having so much fun covering season 21 of Project Runway.
It's time to light the lights, etc.
Oh, truly. I'm loving Project Runway so much this season. I'm having such a great time. One of the big things for me has been really enjoying this cast. And I just want to start off with, I don't know that I've ever been so moved by someone leaving a reality show in my entire... Jack leaves in season 4 because he's having a viral infection related to his HIV, and they give him less of a send-off. Oh my God. Like,
Joan was mom.
Miss Joan is life forever. Joan forever.
I love the point that you made of during her goodbye. She says to Heidi, I get to hear off Wiedersehen because if she'd taken the season that she was supposed to be on, she wouldn't have gotten a goodbye from Heidi. And so, the journey that she had to go from being accepted on this show to, having to turn it down and then getting to come back. It's really good. And she was such a cool lady.
Yeah. Did anybody else think that she was no longer with us with the way that they were doing this memoriam?
Oh
Did
my
anybody
God,
else feel like this was like, we were gonna get, and then Joan was no longer with us, like 2025? It was a little, I loved it, but it was so stark compared to everybody else's departure that I was like, oh, but no, it's just because Joan really touched the hearts of of everyone in the workroom.
Yeah, and I kind of appreciated it. I'd been feeling a little bit like the exit of all of these people was a little shafted. I didn't feel like they got the chance to really talk that much or really give their point of view. They're mostly just sadly stacking things away. And so for Joan to get this, I think speaks to the fact that the cast is very close and very sweet on each other. And I appreciate seeing that, considering what we mostly see is people trying to tear each other apart just because they happen to have a twin.
Oh, that's not the only reason.
It's
to
not.
be a little shitty about it too, because that's my thing. We're in the top 6 now, but I mean, the first bunch that went kind of could have gone. You know what I like? It's kind of okay. Nobody's that sad because it's
total
just like
Kimura Halls.
Oh, burn! After she gave you such
Joseph
a nice
McCrae.
Roscoe.
I'm just joking about the fact that she was first out, and
No, I know.
she's killing it as like a World of Wonder girl.
I mean, I personally love Joseph. I really enjoyed watching him, but the vibe just was very much like this is the first real loss. And I don't know how the group felt, but this did it did feel like they were very sad that they were going to be missing like a close friend and somebody who was giving a lot of maternal energy, which very sweet, but also like, let's not always have it be the old black woman who has to do that for everybody. Setting that aside, I do think there is this level where it's like, it's also we're getting closer and closer to the finale, and like now we're really seeing the episode that we're going to talk about. It has such good examples of like you can all be doing pretty well, but somebody still has to go home. And Joan was such an accomplished designer and such a talent. She has a huge business behind her. Like she'll be fine outside of the show, but all of her experience and work wasn't enough to stay. And I think when you get to a certain part in the seasons, it just feels like if even this person is not going to be continuing on, we're all vulnerable, we're all sad, we're all scared.
Great point.
I don't know, I liked it. I liked the emotion of it, and I thought it was a very good, powerful segue into the rest of the episode, which really kind of continues that line of concern for the contestants.
If in story, if not in challenge.
And that's even part of where, like, the narrative is getting to a point that I'm really excited about. Now, one of the things that I talk a lot about with this show is that design is about, like, it's almost, I'm a performer, I'm a musician, I'm a writer, I write musicals, I get on stage, I wear my guitar, I sing, I'm in a look. I do my own thing. I'm clearly no drag king the way I would like to be. I like to think of myself as a real dom drag prince. But the thing that I'm realizing is drag is so excitingly about creating illusions. And like my favorite drag queens are the girls that can transform their image every single week. I love that Jinx has run this unforgettable gamut in who she can be. I love that you know, like people like Shea Coulee are so talented that they seem really friendly on air, and then other people say something else. But I really think that one of the things about designers is that designers have to interpret the text outside as a painting, every single challenge. When you've got 130 girls, good luck. I feel like we finally know who they really are, and that's my favorite little shit stirrer in the world right now. I don't get people who don't think that VJ is the best. I don't want her to win, but I love VJ. This is my second reality show with VJ. I love her. She's a fucking nut job, and I love her.
I want to see her compete where she's not hyper focused on the other competitors. I would love to see her hyper focused on her work, which is excellent, but sometimes lacks heart or like she needs focus. And I think she's spending a little too much time being like, well, these two fuckers are just doing their own thing, and there's two of them, so they're always just doing. And I think meatballs taste better when there's love and passion in them. And I think right now she's making revenge meatballs, and that's not for everyone. They look
Revenge
good,
meatballs!
but they don't taste good.
I agree with you, Tori. I mean, like she's sort of half wishes she was on Drag Race, because like she is a shit stirrer, but she's not enough of one for the title. She's also like just like. She's not going to Ethan being like, hey, like, did you steal somebody's look? She's going to him being like, I literally don't want you to get in trouble. And I don't know, more and more it's coming off just a little that kid in class and less like funny and entertaining. And because I mean, like, just to skip all the way to the end, she does really badly this challenge, and she's in the bottom. It sort of, in this particular episode, the narrative, and none of this has to be how it played out in real life, or how she was or anything, but how it's playing out in the show is just like, yeah, she's kind of annoying and up in everybody's business on a show that's just not doing as much. If you're the only person doing it, and nobody's really playing back, it doesn't have the same effect that it does on Drag Race. So it just feels like she wasted time that she could have spent conceiving of a good look, being like a mini shit stirrer, a junior shit stirrer,
a shit shaker, as it were.
It's time to graduate if you really want to do this thing.
Yeah, she's a shit swirler. She swirls.
What you got, Jonah?
I was making a Sherry Shaker joke.
Oh, well, I'll accept it. You know, I really want to also take a moment to say that, like, I find it adorable that Yuchin was unfamiliar with Dolly Parton. Those of you who, like, know me personally understand that, like, Dolly Parton I literally say good morning to my Dolly Parton Pop Funko every single morning. She is the literal first thing in my line of vision. I have her arranged so I look right at her to just say good morning to Dolly. Oh, next to Mariah Carey, who is the evil angel on my shoulder. And so, like,
a Christmas topper.
She is also. I have every Mariah Carey Pop Funko. So,
no, there's another one.
There's at least 3. And so, I don't think anybody has a right to make Yuchin feel bad about not knowing who Dolly Parton is, because you know, Yuchin immigrated to America in 2017 to go to FIT, and then stabilized in Queens, and began building his fashion brand there. And I bet there's incredible things he knows about Chinese culture that we don't fucking know for 1 second. And I bet that's half of why his clothes look so good. But I am now realizing that thing that his jacket was in that bad challenge was trying to ape the jacket that he's wearing in that image. And I feel not good. Oh, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
Yeah, and this was an immediate concern I had with this challenge, with the Western challenge. And actually, it went better than I thought it would. When they announced it and they started talking about what Western is and flashing images, I was immediately concerned because I was like, that is very white cowboy Western, and you are forgetting about like the indigenous cultures that are part of that, but also that white cowboy Western is appropriating and stealing. You're forgetting about Mexican cultures that are also indigenous cultures. And I was a little nervous, and I remain disappointed in how the show presented the idea. And I sort of, I know everybody's under contract, but I would maybe expect a little bit better from Christian in having to bring this up. But I really give a lot of credit immediately to Jesus and Antonio they actually, I love them. I think they did great, and they brought themselves into it. But I don't even think they were trying to be woke. I don't even think they were trying to like overcome poor planning on the part of the challenge. They literally just brought their family tradition. Like they literally just did what they grew up with, and they talked about that. And I love that because it does really speak to the fact that Western culture is very complicated. It's not one thing, and it's sort of, it put Yuchen at a real disadvantage. And I really think it put VJ at one too, but Yuchen had a sort of charming moment to talk about it in the Dolly thing. And I think even though, all of us white gay people gasped because every not just white gay people, but like every American raised gay boy.
But we know what you meant. Gay rednecks. We know what you meant.
It's not just, I live in coastal Maine, but I also meant like young.
But they're the center
gay,
of the target. We get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, gay black boys also grow up with Dolly Parton. So I felt like it was one of those things where like I could totally understand why Yuchen didn't know Dolly, and why just he and VJ might not be quite ensconced in this culture in a way that it was reasonable to expect them to be able to nail this challenge.
Yeah, because to be honest, like unless you're very deep in like the country side of things, you're not going, and you show up in America in 2017. At this point, Dolly Parton is big tits in a pinstripe suit. Like that's just what she is. Big hair and a suit. And so she's not as Westerny if you're not going out and searching out her performances. And so I fully can understand why this is, and why this is a little more, it's on the level of Plastique's issues with some references in her own season from not having things growing up in Vietnam, etc. Like I can understand it. It's one of those things where I spend a lot of time being like, why don't shows want to set people up for success? Like, why are we feeling like everyone needs to know every aspect of different corners of the fashion world? Why aren't we providing them with some basic iconography to look at, to understand? Otherwise, we are saying like, if you're not white and American, you're not gonna do well in the show. And to me, that's a problem.
This is a very interesting and particular challenge because it also felt like they just wanted the best hits of Western. I don't know. Western, I think, has specific things, but where's the room for innovation when it comes to Western clothes? Because you're looking for specific things, whether it's denim, fringe, leather, faux leather, because we don't use real leather.
We don't?
No,
not on Project Runway since like season 6. We are
I'm thinking faux fur.
But we are almost exclusively ethical on Project Runway. They are.
Oh yikes, that's a lot of plastic.
But that was leather though. They use leather.
Yeah, I think leather is okay.
I believe it's ethically sourced leather, just to be like clear, like because like there is a lot of unethically sourced materials in. But everything in Project Runway is about keeping it.
It would also
Keep
make
it
sense if
fast.
I
that
have
why
so
the
many
fake
questions
leather.
then about what Ethan is using, but I fully believe you.
Yeah, but
Leather,
you're right, Jonah.
leather is okay, but so this was an interesting challenge to throw 6 people, and where I think I hear what you're saying, TK, but I think VJ understood the references, but was veering off because to not go where everybody else is going. Because everyone, like you look at the top 3, and they're all very derivative. It all derived from what you expect from Western. Not even, even Utica's was a little more derivative with just the snakeskin. Again, nothing was really pushing this idea of what can Western be fashionable. And I guess that means that Western just can't be fashionable then, because Western will just be a costume. I do not know what Yu Chen was thinking. I don't know why he grabbed the disco fabric. I don't know why nobody told him not to do that. And I don't know. I understand, like, you're tired, you're stressed. Everything about you is like you're in this pressure cooker and you're going on challenge number 7 of doing these in one day, back to back to back. When Christian was like, you're a streetwear designer and you didn't want to give us Western streetwear, you want to give an evening dress, I think you should do what you're good at. And he literally said, no, I need to do this dress. And then he puts down this dress, and it's I almost baffled that someone was like, this is a design.
Okay. I do want to talk about, okay. All right. I have a relationship with the truth, and I have trouble. If I showed up to a party and somebody said to me, Nico, just so you know, there's going to be 3 bottoms here, I would walk into that party expecting there to be 3 bottoms just waiting for me. And then to find out Ethan's not really a bottom. He's not here to be on the bottom because he's actually in the middle. He's safe. The presentation of there being 3 bottoms here, Yuchin's look was nuts. VJ's look, as Nina Garcia would say, it's a question of taste. But Ethan's look should not have been on the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's only really annoying because they last week or the week before, they just had a bottom 2. Like, they've been perfectly comfortable not doing 3 people. And then they brought him out just to specifically say, you only missed the top 3. You're not in the bottom. It was just a really odd time to do it. And it was also, it felt really toothless because they didn't even give if you're not in the bottom, if you're not in the top, you're in the bottom, and there's a chance you might go home. It just gave entirely like we had to split this 3 and 3, which we know they don't have to do because they've chosen to do it other ways in previous episodes when they've had more people. So it just, I don't know. It was, it was clearly down to Yuchen and VJ, and it just felt like a weird, it felt really nonsensical.
Is 6 people the point where they normally are like, we're going to give critiques to everyone anyway? Because I know this whole splitting them up thing is new.
7 actually.
Okay, is usually
7?
when we
At 7 they
they're
usually
like,
say everyone can be on here.
But
yeah.
Okay.
But Tori is correct. Splitting them up instead of having everyone stand together and give them all the critiques is what's new, and that is what made it weirder. Because if it had just been everyone standing, Ethan wouldn't have been singled out with the bottom. He would have just been very clearly middle. And so it is all of this strange placement of everything that has been part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about that? Belinda should have been in the bottom.
I wonder if Melania should have.
I think if you're going to have a top 3, bottom 3, I personally would have put Ethan in the top 3 and Belani in the bottom 3. Still both safe. I don't think either one of them should have won. But I look at what Belania created and it looks way too close to what she made last week. It's the exact same idea.
It really is.
And it's great, but it's...
I agree with you. I think we never got to see them pull that critique on Joseph McCrae, so I don't know if we're gonna get that critique. Because it seems like they do want to see you step out and show us what you would do in your wheel. Like they want to see your stamp on it, and her stamp seems to be this. And she is correct. They liked it last week. They're gonna like it again. If she's going with what they want, then that's what they want.
I just want to say that to that, I actually, and unfortunately, poor KEVO and Jonah had to put up with it with me screaming at our place in Philly the entire time. I hated all but two things that walked down the runway this week. I liked on the verge of loving Ethan's because I thought the structural integrity of it, the identity of the shape was really exciting. And I weirdly liked Jesus's. I thought that it worked for what it needed to do, whereas I did feel specifically that Antonio and Melania relied on references that they've made throughout the season, and where it gets really complicated for me is Antonio wore the references that he made. And so like I get stuck here because that looks to me like the female version of what Antonio wears. The jacket, the fringy look, the very cowboy chic Latin, and as somebody who has he's literally in a cowboy jacket and fringe here. And I feel that is cool, but I have a problem sometimes that we don't ever bring up the fact that the female designers used to get really mad at the male designers for being able to bring in their own clothes and trace them for menswear's challenges. Like, men used to bring in their own t-shirt, deconstruct them, and trace the pattern because they had never done menswear in their life. And the women couldn't do that because they didn't have men's shirts. And so, like,
all right,
some
well, that's
part...
a skill issue. Buy a men's shirt. Buy a men's shirt and pack it.
No, literally, multiple women would go on to do that. Yeah. And that is my actual problem with Antonio and Jesus doing so well. Everybody, when they're like, oh, it's my wheelhouse, it's my challenge. What I would love to see happen is I would love to see a singing competition with a rock singer, an opera singer, let's go with a pop singer, an R&B singer, and a jazz singer. And I would love to see how everybody does the week that is an opera. And then I would love to see how the opera singer does every other week. Because, like, not coming for him, but Josh Groban does not hit R&B and pop the same way he hits Broadway standards and opera. And so, like, it is so cool that they were able to rely on their skills to do so well. It's really helpful when you are very good at one thing, but then that doesn't make you the winner of this challenge. It makes you the person that came with the most experience in that challenge. It's very specifically weird for me. I'm not degrading their win at all, but it's the same way that Ethan should win an avant-garde, and I'm not going to be impressed when he does. I'm just going to be happy for it.
I was also very fascinated that we spent the entire Denim Week screaming about how fringe is a bad idea, and we spent this whole week screaming about how you better have fringe or you're gonna die.
Oh my god, that was literally what Detox said to Kimura. When Kimura was like, they like the fringe, then they didn't like the fringe, and Detox was like, baby, it's a Western challenge. Which, by the way, Detox, I spent the entire car ride to and from the gym giving KEVO the explanation on who Terry Mugler is, and then it got me stuck on the Red Hot AIDS charity CDs, and TK and I had a quick conversation. If you guys don't know, Red Hot has been putting out albums for literally 30 years. Terry Mugler contributed significantly by directing a video for a George Michael song in 1991. It was the only song that went on, that was supposed to be on Without Prejudice Volume 2, but wasn't. Because he didn't do it Without Prejudice Volume 2 because he quit the record label. But he did a single for it, and he did a video for it, and Terry Mugler directed it. And, you know, you just don't even understand for a moment when you know, Detox comes out and they spend 3 minutes saying Mugler, 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 Mugler. You're literally talking about one of the forefathers of gay fashion. And you're talking about a man who put drag queens, sex workers, anyone who was treated horrible by society that was beautiful. And he put them right on the runway. And the man was a bodybuilder and made it okay to be kind of like a femme bodybuilder. I don't know. I don't think that any fashion designer is, actually perfect because, as Margaret Cho once said, Karl Lagerfeld is probably fanning the flames of his faggotry. But I just really love that in this world, there was room for these Drag Race girlies to talk about the fashion that defined their ability to contribute. Yeah, jump back to anything else. Go.
Can we talk about, and I really want to hear Tori's thoughts on this.
Ooh.
I took particular umbrage with this episode with the multiple Bandero tops. Like, you get away with this because these two models don't have large breasts, and we're calling this fashion. But you put that on Lyris or Shanae, it's going to look like a piece of fabric. And I'm getting a little annoyed that we even have bigger models and we're still giving credit and praise to when people are designing clothes specifically for skinny as opposed to something you can translate for all body types.
I recently had seen a graphic where Utica loses the design challenge to someone in a skimpy black and white number, and it's Gottmik and the soccer thing. It's happened twice now, and so we'd have two nickels, and that's weird. But I'm with you, Jonah. I'm under the impression that they get like a stack of cards and then they all just like pull one. I would have preferred if this was randomly assigned, because I think it's weird to let. I think it leads too much to. Oh, this is so difficult to say, but it's basically that it can make the designers look bad, and I'm hoping that it's just making them look bad as opposed to being a specific decision to pick really skinny because everything looks good on skinny in our current version of society eye. And it's something that is bothersome to me in general. I don't love it. I've never. It's why I've stayed away from these fashion shows for so long. I watched America's Next Top Model when I was 14 and was very much like, this looks like hell. This is awful. This is not good. So as growing up as a young girl, I skipped a lot of the eating disorder stuff because I was never gonna be skinny. So it was like, I wouldn't even bother trying. But yeah, this stuff is good. Of course it's going to look good. Of course she's going to pump it. It seems like everyone really loves watching a skinny model walk. I think there's always praise and respect for the larger models, and I think they look amazing. But I think a lot of these people don't really quite know how to design for them if they're not like already prepared for that kind of silhouette.
I feel like particularly this season, Shanae and Lyris have gotten, like, they've been given like the ugliest outfit that have like multiple challenges like in a row. And it's only something because I've noticed. I'm not sure how Antonio and Jesus keep having the same models, but everybody else seems to be having like different models. But I don't know if they're just cutting out the part where they just randomly get it, or if one gets it, they just trade. I'm not 100% sure. But it is noticeable when you're paying attention to these things, and I am insane when it comes to looking at certain details, that they have gotten the same models like a couple weeks in a row, but other people have gotten different models. It's weird. Yeah,
something's not quite right in this milk when it comes to these model choices. And I think being egalitarian and just being like, you pick your own models is great, but I think I think if you're not saying that out loud and making it part of it and making us see them figure out their models, I don't know. It's a statement without being a statement, and it's not actually encouraging the change that you want it to. So I don't know why it's like this.
And I feel like that statement is true of so much about this season with, once again, as soon as I heard those words, 1 day challenge, yet again. TK, you made your point last week, and it really is true. At this point, it's 7 or
7.
That's just what it is. And that's okay. But any other amount of time is just, that's the aberration. This is a 1-day challenge program, and that is a remarkable difference from the format of the show for the previous 20 seasons, and that's noteworthy. And it feels like some of these rules and changes not being noted, it's hard to follow.
Yeah. And part of where that comes in is like, when you think about Drag Race, you say to yourself, okay, Drag Race was on Logo, VH1, MTV. The streaming shit is on Paramount Plus. All right, Untucked was on YouTube. All of the other shows are on YouTube or WoW. Okay. When you talk about Project Runway, it's deeper than that, because when Project Runway jumped networks, it changed producers. It changed creative teams. It changed everything. So the identity of what Project Runway is versus Project Runway's history is so much more complicated than anybody can easily point to with like a, oh, that's when it changed. And so like the evolution of Project Runway is almost harder. Okay. The evolution of Project Runway is hard as the TV Guide crossword puzzle is easy. It is that level of not the basics, not the obvious, because like, so you guys understand, crossword puzzles are made based on the reading audience. If it's an audience that enjoys this thing for a basic, simple purpose, they're created to be basic and simple. If it's an audience that reads for challenge, they're created to be challenging. The design flow of Project Runway is based on a history of producers and a history of learning. If you go back and you watch probably one of the top 5 seasons of the series ever, season 2, you know, and Nick Verios is still out here doing Project Runway critiques, you know, and hey, Nick, you're gorgeous. I love you, daddy. But his season, they attacked people for not making the black Barbies blonde. And it's disgusting. That same voice that said she's a Barbie, she should be blonde, 7 years later would go on to chastise people on the runway for not evolving with the times and seeing how much things have changed. And you can't take something and culturally appropriate and deny the culture. So like Project Runway is such a weird thing to talk about because the nature of the show's evolution is, as fashion, tied directly to the identity of what's going on magazine covers. Things like Project Runway are based on counterculture. Things like Survivor are based on the extremes of what people will do. But fashion is a reflection of where we are and where we're going to be. And as a result, the evolution of the product inside is so complex. This is my favorite show, like, of all time. Like, it's this and Golden Girls. It's just my favorite show. And to that end, we're getting to a point where, like, whether we lose VJ or Yuchin, this is an AVP situation. We all lose. You're not losing someone who sucks anymore. You know, we haven't lost someone who sucks since, like, season 16. And because even the original twins were adorable garbage. Although I guess theoretically, Jesus was the original twin. Oh my God. I can't wait to rewatch his original season. It's killing me. I can't wait to see if he mentions
when
his
he
brother
was
even once.
Closeted.
Oh, when he was a twink too. He was a closet twink. And that's the good thing. Twinks are all so tiny that you can stuff them in the closet. And I am at a point where I think I'm ready to state my top 3. I feel confident in my top 3 at this point. I believe that even if Yuchin survives this elimination, they will say he's not ready. Project Runway has an unfortunate habit of saying to a brilliant mind, you're just not ready, your time will come. The problem is Project Runway isn't the one who's going to provide you that time. So they're just taking that opportunity from you. It's not anything actually kind. So Yuchin will be told that it's a matter of taste no matter what he does. I do not believe Nina Garcia will pass VJ to the finals. Nina has a problem with plastic and garish in a way that is not accommodating of VJ's risk-taking. And unless the show does a top 4, they're not bringing both twins. So I believe the top 3 will be Jesus, Ethan, and Melania. Or as my precious God, I love her, VJ would say, Melania. I actually believe it's Ethan's to lose because, guys, there is nothing more exciting than seeing that runway collection. That 5 minutes where that designer shows everything in their soul. It's like seeing your favorite artist sing your favorite song, even though you've never heard it before because all the looks are brand new to you. It is like the most exciting 10 minutes of television to see all of these collections go down one after another. And then to see the person feel so proud that their vision is walking for you, for them, for the world to change fashion. With no restriction, Ethan has what he needs to win. With no restriction, I'm afraid Jesus will cheat a little too close to ready to wear. And with no restriction, Melania, who is proudly just discovered what she really truly believes is her voice, streetwear, which is beautiful, and I'm so excited for her, needs more time to percolate. The best coffee takes a little bit longer to steep. And so I think that she just needs to steep in that streetwear a little bit longer to get that deep flavor. And I believe that it is Ethan who will win, with a top 3 of Ethan, Jesus, and Melania. By the way, as a guy whose grandmother's last name is Estrada, I want that Estrada shirt so fucking bad I can taste it. Guys, tell me your top 3, and if you've got any vibes like that.
Yeah, I think it's, well, actually, no. I think it's definitely Ethan and Jesus. Antonio hasn't won a challenge yet. He's been in the top a bunch, but it does feel like they are setting up for a twin off, and then he would have to be the one to go. Yuchen, it feels like it's probably going home at the start of next week. And then the question really is, does VJ like pull out a bunch of wild cards in the next few episodes? I could see it being VJ. It sort of seems like VJ's trajectory is going downward at this point, and unfortunately I do think some of it has to do with this one-day challenge thing. I think people are starting to get literally exhausted and not flourish in that moment. And God love her, VJ's a little bit of a diva. I think Melania has it in her to fight through the exhaustion. I think VJ would like a nap. But I also think VJ is, in the best possible way, fucking crazy, and might just be like, I've gone to the other end of this and now I'm more powerful than ever before, and just turn out insane looks in the next 2 episodes. And that's the top 3. But I do think it at this point is pretty glaringly Ethan and Jesus, and then we'll see who that last one is.
Yeah, I think it's, I go back and forth because I think we're built to have a top 3 for the finale. I think if we're going to pull out a Christian save, which I hear is a thing, that they'll do it to have a top 4. I think they'll do it. I think he seems to, if I'm remembering which twin is which in the workroom, he seems to have a soft spot for Antonio. Yes. And so I could see that rounding it out to a top 4. I think it's Ethan. I think it's Jesus. I think it's Antonio, especially if Antonio can get a win in the next 2 episodes. I definitely think so.
So you think an all-male top 3?
I really do.
That's
really
shocking,
do.
and I'm interested.
I'm not in love with it because I don't love it, but I think. I
love your perspective. I also don't love it.
Right. But I think that what they're going to be is like, well, the top 3 is twins and a drag queen. And they're like, I mean, there's your diversity. And we're going to be like, yeah, I guess. So I don't know. I think Melania is a strong contender for the part of a top 4. I think VJ. I think next week is gonna really tell us who the top 4 is by the end of it before they announce. I really do. I think we're gonna see who's gonna fall off, but I do think it's going to be a Belania or VJ or Antonio is going to finally fall. And yeah, I'm sorry, Yuchin, you're going home. Is like generally what it's going to be, because I don't think I think they're going to give VJ another shot. Yuchin has been in the bottom. He bombed his category and couldn't even give them what they wanted from him this week. I think he's done, and I think he's got a crazy career in front of him. Someone is going to take him and make him something. He's going to go stratospheric. But I think this is the end of the line for our buddy.
Jonah, tell me, you have watched 21 seasons of Project Runway, 7 seasons of Project Runway All-Stars, and 1 season that's a little bit of both. How you feeling on a top 3 here, and why?
So this show is so weirdly inconsistent on whether it wants a top 3 or a top 4, and sometimes it's just at the whims of whatever happened that season. So if we have a top 4, I do think the only person not making it will be Antonio. I just don't see the judges vibing with him. I don't think his design aesthetic and his abilities as a designer are, I don't want to say being underappreciated, but they're not what the show is looking for. I don't think I've really seen him push into innovation comparative to someone like his brother or literally everybody else up on that panel. If it's a top 3, I think that's where it gets tricky. I was originally on the Yu-Chen hype train where I think Yu-Chen was going to be there, but after this week, I really don't think they can push him forward. So I do think it'll be Ethan, Belania, and Jesus. I do think VJ could take Belania's spot. It depends on what kind of storyline they want to go with. Unfortunately, VJ doesn't really have much of a story outside of being like antagonist and hero to the twin villain story, as well as their own hero story, where Belania has this kind of finding herself, finding her voice, finding her style storyline that makes better for someone in the finale, or at least to push them forward in terms of reality competition show. I don't know which way they want to go. I think I would prefer VJ being in the top 3. Not just because I love both of their personalities, so I'm not going to be mad at either one of them. Either one of them making it. I think Ethan can win it if Ethan can marry the drag avant-garde with making it a little more accessible to the masses, because that's what they want.
KEVO, you know it's you. What you thinking?
Yeah, I'm gonna bounce it right back to your interpretation, because I think you gave it such a thoughtful analysis, and I really think hugely that I agree that is probably how it will shake out. Everyone had such great points. I feel like Antonio has also shown that if we're going to have a twin go to the finals, Jesus not only has proven a lot more maturity in terms of not clapping back at the judges, but it is such a more exciting narrative for Project Runway to have an all-star return, have this one be so much more successful than the one who went home early. I think something that is also going to be a factor is, Antonio and Belania are really fighting for season darling in terms of how they respond to the judges. And next week's episode is something along the lines of Threads of Confidence or something, I believe is the title. So, I think...
it's like Brides, I think.
Right. It's a makeover, isn't it?
Yeah. I thought next week was like regular girlies and make them all feel fabby, because Detox was like, next week I'm going to come as a regular girl. And I was like, girl. Like, I do just want to take a second and just say Detox on Roscoe's reminded me why I love Drag Race girlies in an age of being reminded why I love Project Runway. Man, Detox is that Rue girl. Like, I just, oh Jesus, she's so good, and such a big fan.
It was really fun. As someone who's been enjoying these Roscoe's ones, because I don't really watch Roscoe's during Drag Race, I've been really enjoying them, and I was a little bit like, oh, like Utica's not going to be there. Like, is it still going to be as fun? And this felt more like this felt like an Untucked, a pit stop episode, where you bring on someone who's like, yeah, no, I've been watching this forever, and I get it, and just like watching them shoot the shit with another drag queen was really, really fun. And while I missed Ithaca, the photos coming out of Boston from her runways look amazing. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh, did you call Utica Ithaca?
Maybe.
That's great.
Girl, that is... Shut up. Mama, you are
though.
Officially Ithaca Queen.
I enjoyed this variation, but you know, I prefer having Utica being there. I feel like having the person from the thing, or having someone from the thing, really does add to it. So it's not that I didn't enjoy this format for a wild card, but I wouldn't necessarily enjoy as much just this. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we had a great episode. We killed it. We did amazing. We're phenomenal. I love us. All of us are in the tops. We got 5 tops today. And I had a great time. I love this program. I love responding to this program. I want to thank all of our fans for joining on and being a part of it, having a great time with us, fucking around, and just being fashion girly with us. It's a great time. I want to find out where everybody can follow you guys along. Tori, where can we find you?
You can find me online at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I.
Ugh, I love that. That's so good. That's like, and it's like Tori with an I. It's like Liza with a Z.
Yeah, it's Tori with an I, because I ain't that.
Oh, damn, that's so good. Jonah, there are no I's in your name, but tell me, where can we find you?
You can find I online. Nothing there. At Peak Jonas, P-E-A-K.
That is the best use of Peak since Dante's. Kevo, I love that you produced this show. You have watched literally 16 hours of I Know What You Did Last Summer between films.
No, we
and TV.
just talked about Dante's Peak because was it
Yes!
John Debney was the
John
composer,
Debney.
or was it the Scream, or was it the I Know What
That's
You
where I was
No,
going.
composer.
It was the composer to I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Was it him or was it I Still Know?
I thought it was Debney from I Know.
Okay, I wasn't sure which one did Dante's Peak.
It doesn't matter.
Peak's horrible. Don't watch it.
We're both so fabulous. That's all that matters. Kevo, where can we find you being sexy?
Like you said, we just watched a whole lot of I Know What You Did Last Summer in the last 24 hours. We're really enjoying spooky season. So if you have any recommendations for us, for our channel, for things for us to cover, for me, you can find me at Kevo Rayleigh. That's KEVO
Oh, man, I love that you made it sound like it isn't crazy that we've watched this much I Know What You Did Last Summer, and made it sound like it was a learning experience.
It was
Content creation.
Speaking of people who always teach me what's up, I would love to ask you, TK, since you decided to break me on air with 7 of 9 to 5, I would love to know where everybody can find your funny self on the interwebs.
You can find me sharing the stupidest memes at TK Accidental. And always, as always, take us home.
Country Roads.
I'm so excited. Everybody's coming home with me. Let me get the party started. You guys can find me at NICO Action, NICOACTION, NICO Action Music, NICOACTIONMUSIC. I do not have the largest collection of Mugler, but I definitely have the most uses of Mug in Final Fantasy VIII ever. I am coming for all of your star fragments. You guys, you need to subscribe. You need to follow us. You need to like us. I don't like how that delivered, but I like how it came out. No, for real, like, comment, and subscribe. This way we know what you guys are doing, we know what you guys are thinking, and you guys can be a part of the event. And yeah, stay safe, be brave, evolve daily. We'll see you guys. We think you're amazing. Check out comics, this and more.
Yay!
Yay.